like it's too dark, maybe?
That's probably fine. You're like inside, so it's gonna be way blown out behind.
Well, hello everyone. Today, as you can tell, we are out sailing again. It's a little bit cold, but the wind is perfect for us to move a little bit further north in a nice beam reach / downwind sail. So we are taking our window. It's also going to be a good opportunity for us to test our region today. I know a lot of you have been waiting for some sort of update, and well, here it is.
One of the reasons we haven't done much of an update on our previous videos is because we didn't have the control screen installed yet, so it's kind of hard to get specific numbers. But now that we have that installed, we can be a little bit more accurate with our numbers and really see what the motor RPM is and the battery state of charge, and also how many watts are going in or out. Right now we're running just behind a beam reach, so like about 110 degrees apparent and 20 knots of wind. So we're sailing at like 6.5, 7 knots. Between 6 and 7 knots, we're getting around 150 to 250 watts of regen. And then once we push past 7, or we're holding around 7 or 7.5 knots, we're getting up to like 300 and 350. So it's actually really good. We're not actually using the sort of regen feature that's programmed in, because under about 6.5 knots, it seems to work better to just feather the throttle in forward so we get a little bit more power. A lot of you guys were asking how we can get regen with a folding prop. And pretty much the propeller spinning in forward. So the centrifugal force pulls the propeller out, and then we just feather the throttle back so that there's maybe 50 to 100 watts spinning the propeller, and then when we go faster than that, it actually generates power, and then it just balances that out. So, so far it works really well. We start getting about 50 watts above 5 knots, and then after that it just keeps giving us more and more. So pretty happy with it actually, because we normally sail between 6.5 and 7.5 knots if we have the wind for it. So that's not bad. That's plenty to keep our boat powered up. And if we can do that if we can average 200 watts for 24 hours, that's 5 kilowatt hours of power, which is like twice what our solar panels put in. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to try this on a longer, like, overnight passage. So we can put a first reef in the head sound now.
And I kind of like, I mean, we're not going to lose any speed.
No.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah. You want to grind? You want to take care of grinding it? You can put it on this one.
Yeah. Woo! Look at that rain coming our way. That looks fun.
So much fun.
Did you see the rain?
Yeah, I'm seeing if I can see it on radar actually. Definitely see all that land, definitely see all the boats. It's pretty intense, this rain behind us, and to the side you can see it on radar coming over top of the land. There's a giant rain cloud behind us, and there's one coming over from the beam as well. Hopefully we'll sail out in front of it. Or we might get a little bit wet. Yeah, you can see that rain for sure. Nervous?
Yes.
Is this Kika's nervous face?
This is my nervous face.
I think you're gonna be fine.
I have to practice because that's the only way I can get better, but I'm so nervous.
We're gonna be the only boat in there, so there's nothing to worry about.
Okay, which side? Okay, yeah, the left side.
Yeah, the one that's green.
The ones that open.
The one that's green and the door that's open.
The door that's open, that's the one that we go into.
left.
To the left.
Into the lock.
Oh,
You'll see it. You can probably slow up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check it. Quick, it's kind of like turning. I can't. Yeah. Quick.
Check it first. Not bad.
We did okay.
We did fine.
We did okay. Definitely need to practice some more, but now we have about half a mile left before we make our entrance into the marina. So I can see where I'm going. Okay, so just like stay on this side.
Yeah, you going straight. Well, that went pretty smoothly. We thought we were in a different slip, so it took us a second to like loop around and then realize that he actually said 23, not 25. But it's not bad. We're getting the hang of this new electric motor, so I think it worked out pretty well.
I thought that I could be motoring into the slip, and then last minute I realized that there's no way that I could back up into that slip, as I'm a very what's the word, amateur docker.
Should we keep practicing on locks for a little while first?
Right? This was a very tight fit. I was ready to practice docking today because I practiced docking through the lock, and I wanted to practice getting into the marina. But then we got into the marina and I realized that this was above my skill level. I'm not that good at docking, nor am I that confident at docking yet to attempt to do something like this. So as soon as we realized where our dock slip was, I just gave the helm to Den and I was like, all right, you can take over.
It's not like I'm any more experienced than you are.
But you are. So Den might not be more experienced at docking, but he's more confident. And I think that's half the battle, is the confidence that you have when it comes to like turning around. And the size of our slip is the size of the boat. There's no room to mess up. So
there's like we had to like flip the fender out of the way. For how crazy docking in here, we didn't actually hit. I had to turn all the way around and then go stern in.
No, yeah. This was this was intense.
So do you guys remember when we were motoring down the North Sea Canal and we were doing some motor tests and it sounded pretty loud? A lot of you mentioned it down in the comments below that video. And apparently some guys from Ocean Volt saw that video as well. Now part of that was the fact that we have a very sensitive microphone on our camera and it's set to auto level, so when we're not talking, the sound of the motor is elevated to like fill up that ambient sound. Part of it is also that our prop is pretty close to our hull, so we're getting like a little bit of noise from the prop slap. And while we were anchored in Durgedam, one of our patrons, who also happens to be the Netherlands representative for Ocean Volt, came onto our boat and did a bit of an audio test and did some recordings, and also thought that the motor sounded a little bit loud.
Yeah. Because when you were motoring down the channel, I was like, what's happening here?
I can record this some way, yeah.
I'm gonna do it in reverse so we don't run over our anchor.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now half power?
Half, so... our motor is used. It's been on Reen's catamaran for I think 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years now. But Bart, our patron, also works at a boat yard here in Enkhuizen, and so he's gonna haul us out today. We're gonna pull the sail drive off and double check our install and double check to see if there's not anything worn out inside the skeg itself. So today we're gonna motor around the corner and into sort of downtown Enkhuizen.
Nou, meestal weten eigenaren wel. Hij gaat het niet zelf. So what is exactly the complaint or the sound that you are hearing?
It's a kind of rattling.
Does it rattle at all speeds or is there a...
Yeah. It sounds like there might be a little bit coming from the prop because like that's really close. So there might be like a little bit kind of from the prop that's a slower.
Dit is wel een semi-teken.
We're gonna pull off the propeller and then see if it's actually like gear noise or if it's propeller or something. Something's not quite lined up. But we still have all the tools to do that, so.
Oh yeah.
There it goes.
That's not the idea, right?
It's definitely direction. I don't remember which one it was. There you go. It's also a smaller shaft. Do you want me to spin it up and forward and reverse?
Yeah, try.
It's still noisy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's still a little loud.
Okay.
Reverse
Yeah.
is worse.
That sounds almost as loud as it did with the propeller on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely it's something inside.
Yeah, there's definitely like a...
And only reversed, so...
Forward still sounded, well from up there it sounded the same to me,
Yeah?
but from down here maybe it's
From
different.
down here you hear a difference.
Yeah.
You hear the...
Yeah, so we pulled the prop off and hauled it out of the water to see if it was prop noise or if it was actual sail drive noise. And the sound definitely does seem to be coming from maybe the gears of the bearings inside. So now we're gonna figure out what to do next. Investigate further. Back to here,
Yeah.
it's filled in level with the water line anyway, because I filled it in so it wouldn't fill up with water.
Ah, it's already...
It's already filled in, so like it wouldn't
You
be
just can't-
terribly hard. I don't think I want to do it now, but it wouldn't be terribly hard to like almost just flatten this by like the depth of that drive,
Okay.
by like that much, and then just put like, you know, another 1/4 inch of glass on the outside of it, Yeah, and we could at least, that's an inch, so we could at least get 2 inches. Could have covered it up a little bit, but like that's not causing much drag, and we'd rather have it like clean itself out than have it just get full of junk.
And cooling it.
Yeah, so we don't mind having the hole there. I don't think it makes a difference to put a fairing around it. The amount of people that were like, why don't you epoxy and glass it in? We're like, because then we'd never be able to take it out. So that's exactly what it sounded like ever since we installed it. But on the hard, all we did was like a yep, it's spinning the right direction, let's put it in the water. We didn't do like any kind of full speed test. I'd be willing, like, you pull that off, pull that big nut off, that whole bottom gear would slide out. And then there's just a bearing in the top, there's probably a bearing.
Then you have to
somehow there's a bearing, there's gotta be a bearing somewhere here. It's probably that right there, right?
Yeah. Before we go there,
drop that off.
Yeah. We have to drop it off.
Yeah, that's not a difficult thing to work
because
on.
This one is damaged.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
ooh, yeah.
Ooh, it's.
At least there's some left in there, but yeah, that's not what it's supposed to look like.
It's milky.
Yeah. Huh. So it's leaking from somewhere.
Yeah. Why is it so gray?
Because there's seawater in it.
Combination with oil and water.
Yeah. I mean, we motored around a test, but it still looked like translucent, transparent. Like it looked almost like it came out of the jug.
Yeah.
And that was what, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, almost
about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So it's lost. Well, let's dump that out and see how much oil that is. But yeah, there's none left in the reservoir. All right, so we are going to fill it back up with oil, close the cap, turn the motor on for a little while, and see if we can see any oil leaking out, because there's salt water getting into the oil somewhere, and the oil is leaking out a little bit as well, because we dumped the oil out of the sail drive, and there's probably a third less oil than there should be, and it's all milky and gross, so there's salt water in it. So somewhere it's leaking, and now we're going to try to figure out where. So we're not entirely sure, since there was still oil left in the sail drive itself, it's probably not, it's not the oil that's damaged the gears, but it does definitely sound like there's something wrong with the gears in the sail drive internally, but because this is a used motor, you know, we're not really sure what the past life of it was like. So we're going to test to see where the oil's leaking out before we pull the sail drive out, so we can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. When we pull it out to check the bearings and the gears, we'll also be able to fix wherever it's leaking from. We only have 100 more milliliters to go. Yeah, it's about halfway up. All right. It might just be how it's like echoing through the skeg, but like the loudest is like right here. Up here, it's silent. There's nothing up there. Yeah, it definitely sounds like the loudest is right there. That might just be how it's vibrating, but or it
What's
might be
that trick? What's that trick?
This is like an old mechanic's trick. Yeah, this is an old trick my dad taught me. It's using any kind of metal as like a stethoscope. If you put it up on your ear, you can hear really well, like the individual vibrations. I usually use a screwdriver, anything metal that'll transfer the vibration through to your ear. Yeah, you can do that on an engine and hear like exactly like what piston's out or what gear is out. But there's a shaft, and then there's a gear, and then there's a bearing, and then there's a shaft, and then there's a bearing at the top. But it sounds like it's the bottom one.
In a cradle,
and then tomorrow pressure test to see where the oil's coming out, and then take this down and pull it apart. Yeah. All right.
Cool. It's in forward, by the way.
That's fine, it doesn't really matter. So we've been put into a cradle because we're probably going to be here a little bit longer than expected. There's definitely a ticking noise coming from inside the sail drive, this leg down into the water, and we're not exactly sure what it is. So we have it running at a pretty slow RPM. We're going to drain the oil out and check to see if there's any like metal in it. We'll probably flush it with oil a few more times, and then pull the bottom half of the sail drive off and then pull it apart, because there's probably something wrong with one of the bearings or one of the teeth on one of the gears inside. We're not exactly sure, but there's only one way to find out. Yeah, there's definitely something worn out in there. There's a whole bunch of metal shavings in the bottom of the oil, so that's it's not a good sign. It's like confetti. Look at that. That's not good at all. We flushed oil through twice, and it's like a whole bunch of metal that came out of the bottom, so there's definitely something grinding around in there that's not supposed to be grinding around in there. Hopefully we'll be able to find out what the problem is.